Welcome to Mediocre Main Character. I'm playing Matches and Matrimony, a Pride and Prejudice tale. We're playing the Darcy edition, so let's get that man. Upon returning, I was surprised to find a commotion at the house as an unexpected visitor just arrived. Are you expecting a visitor? No. I think that's the definition of unexpected. A very large carriage has come to call. I wonder who it could be. Goosey! Lady Catherine, why are you here? I hope you're well, Miss Mediocre Bennet. That lady, I suppose, is your mother? Yes. Yo, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm already feeling riled up today, okay? I had to go at Whitby. I am not above punching out Lady Catherine, okay? Better catch these hands if you can't catch my double meaning, you bitch. Okay. Yes, your ladyship, that's my mother. And that, I suppose, is one of your sisters. Yes, madam. You have a very small park here. Mother seemed genuinely appreciative of an opening in the conversation that allowed her to speak. Oh, it's nothing in comparison of Rosings, my lady, I dare say, but I assure you it's much larger than Sir William Lucas's. This must be a most inconvenient sitting room for the evening in summer. The windows are full west. Oh, yes, of course, but we never sit here after dinner. May I take the liberty of asking your ladyship whether you left Mr. and Mrs. Collinswell? Yes, very well. I saw them the night before last. I had thought that this inquiry might produce a letter from Charlotte, as it appeared the only probable motive for Lady Catherine's call on us. But as no letter appeared, I was left completely puzzled. Yeah, I don't think Lady Catherine would ever deliver a letter. Like, that's just not on brand. Yeah, I don't know why we're being so nice to her. Like, this woman would not be allowed in my house. I don't care. You're not allowed in. You and your pompous carriage can both take a U-turn in my little humble park outside and get lost. Our mom's being so nice. I shall send for some refreshment. How should you like your tea? I should not like it at all. Miss Bennet, there seems to be a prettyish kind of little wilderness on one side of your lawn. I should be glad to take a turn in it, if you will favor me with your company. Lady Catherine strode on, pronouncing judgment on the rooms we passed on our way outside, but then she spoke nothing further until reaching our park. She's so rude. She's so rude. I really wished that I could take her down a notch. Is there a punch Lady Catherine in the mouth option? You can be at no loss, Miss Bennet, to understand the reason of my journey hither. Your own heart, your own conscience must tell you why I come. What? That is so funny. If I was like, yo, is it because of your nephew? Is it because your nephew loves me? Is that why? I don't even know why you're here. Why are you here? You are mistaken, madam. I have not at all been able to account for the honor of seeing you here. Miss Bennet, you ought to know that I am not to be trifled with. But however insincere you may choose to be, you shall not find me so. My character has ever been celebrated for its sincerity and frankness, and in a cause of such moment as this, I shall certainly not depart from it. A report of a most alarming nature reached me 2 days ago. I was told that not only your sister was on the point of being most advantageously married, but that you, Miss Mediocre Bennet, would in all likelihood be soon married as well. To my own nephew, Mr. Darcy. Though I know it must be scandalous falsehood, I instantly resolved on setting off for this place that I might make my sentiments known to you. Yeah, if you believed it impossible to be true, I wonder why you took the trouble of coming so far. What could your ladyship propose by it? You came because you're threatened. Why don't you fan yourself back to Rosings? At once to insist upon having such a report universally contradicted. Your coming to Longbourn to see me and my family will be rather a confirmation of it, if indeed such a report is in existence. If you then pretend to be ignorant of it, has it not been industriously circulated by yourselves? This is not to be borne, Miss Bennet. I insist on being satisfied. Let me be rightly understood. This match, to which you have the presumption to aspire, can never take place. No, never. Mr. Darcy is engaged to my daughter. Now what have you to say? Only this, that if he is so, you can have no reason to suppose he'll make an offer to me. The engagement between them is of a peculiar kind. From their infancy, they've been intended for each other. It was the favorite wish of his mother as well as of hers. While in their cradles, we planned the union, and now at the moment when the wishes of both sisters would be accomplished in the marriage, to be prevented by a young woman of inferior birth, of no importance in the world, and wholly unallied to the family? Ew. Just ew. Do you pay no regard to the wishes of his friends, to his tacit engagement with Miss de Bourgh? Are you lost to every feeling of propriety and delicacy? Have you not heard me say that from his earliest hours he was destined for his cousin? Yeah, I heard it before, but what is it to me, honey? What do I care? If Mr. Darcy is neither by honor nor inclination confined to his cousin, why is not he to make another choice? And if I am that choice, why may I not accept him? Think about that, Miss Goosey. Because honor, decorum, prudence, nay, interest forbid it. I am ashamed of you. And I'm ashamed of you. I'm ashamed of your face. I'm ashamed of your fan. I'm ashamed of your outfit. I'm just grossed out by your existence. You are to understand, Miss Bennet, that I came here with the determined resolution of carrying my purpose, nor will I be dissuaded from it. I have not been used to submit to any person's whims. That will make your ladyship's situation at present more pitiable, but it will not have an effect on me. I will not be interrupted. Hear me in silence. My daughter and my nephew are formed for each other. Their fortune on both sides is splendid. They are destined for each other by the voice of every member of their respective houses. And what is to divide them? The upstart pretensions of a young woman without family, connections, or fortune? Is this to be endured? But it must not, shall not be. Tell me once for all, are you engaged to him? Damn, I wish we could have lied. I wish we could have lied. I would love to see your face if I said, we're not engaged, we're married. And what? You weren't invited. But we're honest, so I am not. For the first time during our discourse, Lady Catherine seemed pleased. And will you promise me never to enter into such an engagement? Of course not. Who are you? I will make no promise of the kind. Miss Bennet, I am shocked and astonished. I expected to find a more reasonable young woman. But do not deceive yourself into the belief that I will ever recede. I shall not go away till you have given me the assurance I require. Yeah. You can't stay here. You're trespassing. I will have you thrown out. You and all that junk in the trunk that you're packing under that ball gown. Out. And I certainly never shall give it. I am not to be intimidated into anything so wholly unreasonable. How far your nephew might approve of your interference in his affairs, I cannot tell, but you have certainly no right to concern yourself in mine. I must beg, therefore, to be importuned no farther on this subject. You have no regard, then, for the honor and credit of my nephew? Unfeeling, selfish girl! Do you not consider that a connection with you must disgrace him in the eyes of everybody? You can now have nothing further to say. You have insulted me in every possible method. I must beg to return to the house, and you off my lawn. You are then resolved to have him. I have said no such thing. I am only resolved to act in that manner which will, in my own opinion, constitute my happiness, without reference to you or to any other person so wholly unconnected with me. Basically, your business. It is well. You refuse, then, to oblige me. You refuse to obey the claims of duty, honor, and gratitude. You are determined to ruin him in the opinion of all his friends and make him the contempt of the world. Neither duty, nor honor, nor gratitude have any possible claim on me in the present instance. No principle of either would be violated by my marriage with Mr. Darcy. And with regard to the resentment of his family, or the indignation of the world, if the former were excited by his marrying me, it would not give me one moment's concern, and the world in general would have too much sense to join in the scorn. And this is your real opinion? This is your final resolve? Very well. I shall now know how to act. Do not imagine, Miss Bennet, that your ambition will ever be gratified. I came to try you. I hope to find you reasonable, but depend upon it, I will carry my point. I take no leave of you, Miss Bennet. I send no compliments to your mother. You deserve no such attention. I am most seriously displeased. Wow. Brava! Bravissima! I am so proud of our character. And with that, Lady Catherine left, leaving me to ponder what she might do next. Whatever she might do, I did not fear the results. I had asserted my good sense and will, and I should not feel sorry for it. Lady Catherine hates us. Look at her face. Wow, that is amazing. That's going in the thumbnail. Chapter 20. This has to be the last chapter. Okay, we're good. I'm just gonna rest all week. We've worked our tails off this whole game, so let's just take it easy. Are you not diverted? Mediocre, I was going to look for you. Come into my room. Wondering whatever could have excited my father so, I decided to follow him to his room, though I feared it might be in relation to my injury with Lady Catherine. You know, I don't get this family at all. Like, if some random old lady showed up at my house in a carriage, was rude to my mom, well, came in uninvited for one thing, and then was rude to my mom, and then demanded I go speak to her in the garden, everyone's gonna want to know, like, what do we talk about? This family, they don't seem to care. Anyway, I've received a letter this morning that astonished me exceedingly. I did not know before that apparently I have 2 daughters on the brink of matrimony. Let me congratulate you on your very important conquest. Feeling a little strange that Papa would state things thusly, I attempted to determine who might have given him such information. This letter is from Mr. Collins. Yeah, what? Okay, I think I know what's gonna happen. Mr. Collins probably heard from Lady Catherine that Mr. Darcy wants to marry us. My concern immediately dissolved and was replaced by bewildered curiosity. Mr. Collins, what can he have to say? Well, he begins with congratulations on the approaching nuptials of my eldest daughter. I shall not sport with your impatience by reading what he says on that, but what relates to you is as follows. Having thus offered you the sincere congratulations of Mrs. Collins and myself on this happy event, let me now add a short hint on the subject of another. Ooh. Gossip from the Lucases. Your middle daughter, it is presumed, will no longer bear the name of Bennet, after her elder sister has resigned it, and has chosen the partner of her fate may be reasonably looked up to as well. Okay, I know this is like a happy moment, but even now, Mr. Collins is boring me, so let's skip ahead. Let me warn my cousin, if you accept this gentleman's proposal, which you would want to take advantage of, we have reason to imagine that his aunt, Lady Catherine de Bourgh, does not look on the match with a friendly eye. Have you any idea, Mediocre, who this gentleman is? Well, yeah. Father didn't give me time to answer, and in this instance, I was glad of it. Mr. Darcy, you see, is the man. Now, Mediocre, I think I've surprised you. Could he or the Lucases have picked any man within the circle of our acquaintance who you'd be less likely to be courting than Mr. Darcy? Mr. Darcy, who never looks at any woman but to see a blemish, and who probably never looked at you in his life. It's admirable. Yeah, very funny, Dad. Hilarious. You're so hilarious. Are you not diverted? Yeah. Good joke. Read on. Ooh, boy. Okay, so Mr. Collins is the one who told Lady What's-Her-Name that Mr. Darcy might marry us. Yeah, she thinks that there are family objections. Oh. She would never give her consent to what she termed so disgraceful a match. Wow. But we don't care. Mediocre, you look as if you did not enjoy it. You're not going to be missish, I hope, and pretend to be affronted at an idle report. For what do we live but to make sport of our neighbors and laugh at them in our turn? No, yeah, it's funny, Dad. Really hilarious. It's just weird is all. Okay, stop making it a big deal, okay? It's not that funny. When I read a letter of his, I cannot help giving the preference even over Wickby, much as I value impudence and hypocrisy of my son-in-law. And pray, Mediocre, what said Lady Catherine about this report? Did she call to refuse her consent? Listen, Dad. Yeah, this is really awkward. Can we just skip ahead? My father had most cruelly mortified me by what he said of Mr. Darcy's indifference had left me with a dread wonder that perhaps, instead of my father understanding too little of Mr. Darcy's feelings, that I might have fancied too much. Ooh, twist! I didn't think of that. That's interesting. Are we reading into Mr. Darcy's love for us? He did propose a couple of chapters ago, and now he's like coming through and helping our family. Does that mean that he's in love with us? I don't know. I think so. Oh, they're the boys. Oh, Mr. Bingley, you are most welcome. Miss Bennet, I have brought my friend today. Yes, I see. Mother's imprudence and ill behavior was something I could always count on, though, and wished I could not. My greater fear was her bringing up the visit of Lady Catherine in front of Mr. Darcy. Yo, let it out of the bag. Like, if it was me, I'd start with that. I'd be like, Darcy, nice to see you. Can I have a chat with you in private? And if not in private, you know what? Let everybody know. I'd be like, Mr. Darcy, did you know your aunt came here yesterday and basically screamed at me? She was really rude. Fix it. Anyway, I was in momentary dread that it would be spoken of when Mr. Bingley, clearly wanting to speak to Jane alone, proposed that we all take a walk. I was thankful for the praise, but then I realized that it would leave me little choice but to speak further with Mr. Darcy, and I scarcely knew what to say. Tell him about Lady Catherine! We began our walk as a group, but soon Jane and Mr. Bingley allowed themselves to fall behind, leaving Mr. Darcy and I somewhat alone. As we moved to a distance that I believed must be out of earshot of Jane and her companion, I knew that I must take the opportunity to speak or lose it forever. Mr. Darcy, I'm a very selfish creature, and for the sake of giving relief to my own feelings, care not how much I may have been wounding yours. I can no longer help thanking you for your unexampled kindness to my poor sister. Ever since I've known it, I've been most anxious to acknowledge to you how gratefully I feel it. Were it known to the rest of my family, I should not have merely my own gratitude to express. I am sorry, exceedingly sorry, that you have been informed of what may, in my mistaken light, have given you uneasiness. I did not think Lady Lucas was so little to be trusted. No, don't blame Lady Lucas. She is a big mouth, but in this case it's Lady Anne. I thank you for myself and in the name of all of my family for that generous compassion which induced you to take so much trouble and bear so much mortifications for the sake of discovering them. If you will thank me, let it be for yourself alone. That the wish of giving happiness to you might add force to the other inducements which led me on, I shall not attempt to deny. But your family owe me nothing. Much as I respect them, I believe I thought only of you. He still loves us. The declaration he made of his true motive left me too embarrassed to speak, and he quickly added, You are too generous to trifle with me. If your feelings are still what they were last April, tell me so at once. My affections and wishes are unchanged, but one word from you will silence me on this subject forever. Well, what do you think? Obviously we're marrying him, right? But what happens if we don't? I pondered what to do for a moment, but then the answer seemed clear to me. I declined Mr. Darcy again, and this time for good. I stood on my own, and for now, that is how I would remain. Though my life had not led me where I expected, I knew who I was. Badass ending. Okay, cool. We've already got this before, so we don't need to try that out again. Yes, Mr. Darcy, I will marry you. As I had already declined him once, Mr. Darcy's present situation was made all the more awkward and anxiety-inducing. Though I was not certain how to share the intimate feelings of my heart, I forced myself to immediately, though not entirely fluidly, answer him. I should like to express all that I feel, to have you truly understand my present happiness. Since our first meeting, my sentiments have been undergoing a very material change. I see things so differently now, and am glad to receive your present assurances, very glad. I cannot say how hopeful I was for a renewal of your offers, or how happy I am to receive them. Mr. Darcy's expression lightened with such an expression of heartfelt delight that I was nearly startled. Yeah, we hardly see it. His love and affection for me permeated the air between us and surrounded my person with such warmth of love as I had ever known before. Oh, my aunt told me of her visit to you, of course. She spoke of your refusal to follow her wishes with disdain, in hopes that she might get me to agree to what you would not. But unluckily for her ladyship, her efforts had entirely the opposite effect. Imagine if we told her that we wouldn't marry Darcy, he wouldn't have come out and fought for us. Interesting. It taught me to hope, as I had scarcely ever allowed myself to hope before. I knew enough of your disposition to be certain that, had you been absolutely, irrevocably decided against me, you would have acknowledged it to Lady Catherine frankly and openly. Yeah, we are capable of that. After abusing you so abominably to your face, I could have no scruple in abusing you to all your relations. What did you say of me that I did not deserve? For though your accusations were ill-founded, formed on mistaken premises, my behavior to you at the time had merited the severest reproof. It was unpardonable. I cannot think of it without abhorrence. Well, let's not talk about it then. We will not quarrel for the greater share of blame annexed to that evening. The conduct of neither, if strictly examined, will be irreproachable. But since then we have both, I hope, improved. We have. We really have. Oh, Mr. Darcy, let it go. I know it's embarrassing. Let's not think about it, okay? Had you behaved in a more gentlemanlike manner? Yeah, we did say that. You've tortured me. Why are we talking about this? When do we get to the good part? I had not the smallest idea of their being felt in such a way. Yeah, we were careless with our words, but I mean, at least we were honest. That's how we felt. The turn of her countenance I shall never forget, as you said that I could not have addressed you in any possible way that would induce you to accept me. Oh, don't repeat what I said. These recollections will not do at all. I assure you that I've long and most heartily been ashamed of it. Did the letter soon make you think better of me? Did you, on reading it, give any credit to its contents? It made me question my own judgments in a most painful way. In doing so, yes, it did make me think better of you, as I came to see you in a different light. Yeah, I thank you, Darcy. I really do. We're not throwing it away. We're keeping it. It's your first letter to us. It's a love letter. The letter perhaps began in bitterness, but it did not end so. The adieu is charity itself. But think no more of the letter. The feelings of the person who wrote and the person who received it are now so widely different from what they were then, that every unpleasant circumstance attending it ought to be forgotten. You must learn some of my philosophy. Think only of the past as its remembrance gives you pleasure. Oh, he really likes how we think. But with me it's not so. Painful recollections will intrude with which ought not to be repelled. I have been selfish all my life, in practice, though not in principle. As a child I was taught what was right, but I was not taught to correct my temper. I was given good principles, but left to follow them in pride and conceit. Unfortunately, as an only son, I was spoiled by my parents, who, though good themselves, allowed and encouraged and almost taught me to be selfish, to care for none beyond my own family circle, to think meanly of all the rest of the world, to wish at least to think meanly of their sense and worth compared to my own. Such I was from 8 to 28, and such I might still have been, but for you. Dearest, loveliest mediocre. We walked on, speaking as lovers often do, with great feeling for each other, regardless of the topic, and often oblivious of even what we were speaking of, paying attention only to who we were speaking to. Soon after, there was a double wedding, an event I shall never forget, for it began a beautiful marriage for each of all the people that I held most dear in the world. My sister married Mr. Bingley, of course, and I put my life and my heart into the arms of Mr. Darcy, the most perfect man I've ever met. Congratulations! You've completed your story and unlocked ending 9, Mrs. Darcy. We got the ending. We got the happy Darcy ending. It's over. 9 endings. Done. I could not ever imagine anything as sweet as was my marriage to Mr. Darcy. His love for me seemed to know no bounds and was a true love, caring for every part of my character, appreciating every nuance of my personality. I felt I must be the happiest person in the world. Though others had made the same claim, I was sure, I was equally certain not one could claim it with such justice as I could. Soon after our marriage, I was delighted to find that Jane, after spending time at Netherfield, found the closeness to Mamma too much for her, and so moved to a county neighboring Pemberley, putting us at an easy distance from each other. Ah, amazing! Lady Catherine denounced the banns and spoke abusively towards me, to which Mr. Darcy responded by ending all involvement with the family. Wow, that's a man. That's a man. He has our back. Even when his crappy aunt was trashing us, he had our back. Of course, we're nice and we don't want to cause a family rift, so we prevailed upon him to overlook the offense and reconcile. Above all, my husband loved me as I did him, and together we grew and improved, both in character and in our love for each other. Whew. I think this deserves the credits. Roll the credits. 9 of 9 endings unlocked. Yes. So there you have it. Matches and Matrimony. All 9 endings done, done, and done. And I gotta say, this Darcy ending has been the longest, the most winding, the most unpredictable, but I personally enjoyed the Bingley ending probably the most, followed by Captain Wentworth. And then, let's do it. Let's rank the endings. Wickby, and then Darcy. It's hard to not let spoilers interfere in my decisions as well, because I was remembering pieces from the book. But all in all, I'm very happy with the ending. And look at that. That's beautiful. Thanks for playing. There's everybody. This is such a fun game. I'm going to miss it. Check out the whole playlist if you want to catch up on all 9 endings. Thanks for watching.